Hey everybody, welcome to week 11 of 3D Basics. Hopefully you had a lovely spring break, a week off, but also hopefully you are continuing to work on your assignment 5. Today we will look at a few different modifiers briefly, and we'll go through a pretty basic character modeling a character from scratch together, because next week our lecture and your assignment 6 are about animating a character, and the lecture next week is going to be about rigging and animating a character. So today might be a little shorter, a little lighter than usual, because I want you to have a little more time to work on your assignment 5. Before we jump in, let's look at the schedule for this class. We're on week 11 right now. So that's right here. We're modeling a character, and we're also looking at some modifiers and modifiers. Your assignment, you hopefully have turned in and completed your assignment 4. Next week, we will meet and review your progress on assignment 5. And then, as stated, your lecture is about rigging and animation with characters. The week after that, April 7th, is another week off for this class. That's a workshop day. So then you have until April... Oh, so actually I was off. I think I was off by a day. April 5th is when assignment 5 is due. So that's actually 3 weeks from today. So April 5th? What am I looking at? April 14th is the deadline for assignment 5. So yeah, looking at this, yeah. So I'm recording this on Wednesday. So yeah, 24th, and then 31st, and then a week off, and then 14th assignment 5 is due. And then we're just rolling right into the end of the semester. Wild. Flew by. Okay, let's talk about some modifiers real quick. I'm in Blender. So let's talk about modifiers. I'm going to delete this cube, and I am just going to add a monkey in here. Suzanne. Perfect. Okay, let's look at modifiers. We've got Suzanne selected. The first one I want to show you is array. So let's add a modifier, and let's do generate array. So it's made a copy of Suzanne here in our scene. So looking at this count 2, it has 2 Suzannes. If I make this 4, there's 4 Suzannes. Relative offset. So I can change the direction that it's moving. So I could have it move at an angle, or I could change the factor x to 0, factor y to 1, you know? And now it's repeating in the x direction, or z, or x and z, you know? So this is how you can have a repeating model pretty easily if it's in like a uniform pattern. So like imagine columns on a building, like on a Roman structure or things like that. There, I need a little bit more room for my hand gestures. But I don't need to be this big. Okay. Let me reset this. So let's make this 3, and let's make this 1 0 0 1 0 0. Cool. The cool thing about arrays is, you can have multiple arrays. So, like, think back to your high school math classes. We can add an array, an additional array, and just change this one. Let's minimize this. Change the count to like 4, and then so it's like doing an array of arrays like this. So it's 3 times 4 in this direction, but we can change the factor to 0 in the x and 1 in the y, and it's gonna multiply it in this direction. Zoop. Ta-da. Cool. So that's arrays. That's an easy one. The next one I want to show you is bool. So let's do it. Add modifier. Boolean. Bool is the short for the abbrev for Boolean. All right. So what Boolean does is it can either take something out, like make a hole in a model, or kind of, let me just show you. It's a little bit difficult to explain. So I'm gonna Shift A, and I want to add a cylinder into my scene, and I'm actually just gonna make this a triangle. Make sure I make the triangle fan for the cap fill type, and I want to make the radius something skinny, like 0.27. Okay, cool. All right, so here's my cylinder. Now, what a Boolean does is it requires two objects, and it can either intersect these two objects, it can union these two objects. I'm looking at the modifier here, or it can difference the two objects. So, and they have to be touching for it to really do anything. So I have. And let me actually just like disable my arrays. So I hit this little monitor icon to disable it, to hide it. But I'm gonna take my cylinder, I'm gonna rotate it like this, and I'm gonna just like put it. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna make it a little bigger. S for scale. And I'm gonna rotate it like this, and I'm gonna put it like right in the middle of her dome right here. Okay, let's go back to our Suzanne. So I'm gonna select, so operand type is object. You can either have an object or a collection work with this, but now I'm just gonna eyedropper this object, cylinder. Okay, so now it appears as if it's done nothing, but it's really, it has happened, but we actually need to hide our cylinder. So if I go up to the cylinder and hit the little eyeball. So now looking at Suzanne, there is like a cylinder-sized chunk taken out of her head. This is maybe a little bit gruesome. So right now I'm even noticing that I'm having a problem like hiding it. But one thing that you can try to do to make this work a little better is check this box under solver options, do self-intersection. There we go. So now there's a little cylinder taken out of her head. And so that is difference. Union, we'll just kind of combine the two. It makes a union of them. And then intersect is, it's like, does the inverse of difference. So it's only now giving us the part where it intersects. So difference there. So let's turn these arrays back on, because I want the ordering of arrays does matter, and just be cautious here because this can chunk your computer. So right now, what I want you to notice is that the chunk is only missing from one of the monkeys. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. It's the chunk is missing from the first monkey, and then it goes into the back monkey. That's because it is calculating the arrays. It's resolving these arrays from top to bottom. So first it's doing array 1, which is multiplying this way by 3, 1, 2, 3. And then it's doing the next array, so then it copies that this way, ding, ding, ding. And then it's doing the Boolean, cutting this out. So you can rearrange the Booleans. So if I move, or rearrange your modifiers, if I move this Boolean up to the top, so I can drag it up here like this, now you can see that the same hole is cut out of all 12 of them, because first it's cutting the monkey, it's cutting the chunk out of the monkey, then it's multiplying it this way, then it's multiplying it this way. If we put it in between, you can see that first it's multiplying to the right, then it's cutting the chunk, then it's multiplying to the back. So only these ones on the left have it. And then again, remember, if we have it just on the bottom, it's only going to cut out. See, and I don't know why we're seeing into the middle of that one. It's a little buggy. So you probably wouldn't actually combine these modifiers in real practice. But this is just a demonstration of how the ordering matters. And it can have unintended consequences if you put them in different orders. So this is doing the Boolean first. I think hopefully you get it. Cool. So that's just a little tiny bit about modifiers. The Boolean can come in handy too, like if you're building if you're making a car or something, and you like want to cut a window out of it or something, and you don't want to like actually like add geometry or make cuts, you can do something like this where it's like, you know what, just like cut this part out of it and that'll be my window. And so then you just add a Boolean onto here. Add Boolean. It's like this guy, cube 001, difference. Hide your cube. Oops. Hide this cube. And look, there's like a little window. And then bake it if you want. Apply. And so now you actually have it done. So, it's and Boolean is messy too. It can be messy. Looking at this right now, it actually did a pretty decent job. So it cut, it did make a couple additional cuts here. Like here's an edge, and here's an edge. Oops, that one's behind my head. So it did make a couple of different edges in here. But anyway, Boolean, array, 2 new tools to add to your toolbox. All right, let's make a character. Let's do it. And this is like just sort of a humanoid type character. It'll be pretty basic. Feel free to make it more exciting if you wish. You have the option to use this character for your next assignment. I will also provide you with a model that you can animate, or you definitely use your own, or if you want to like find one on the internet or something like that. You can, but just be aware that models you find on the internet are oftentimes like pretty messy and not very optimized. So just be aware of that. Okay. Let's start with the cube. So there's a few different schools of thought with modeling a character. Sometimes people start with the torso. Sometimes people start with the head and go down. I think for me, my head works where I start with the torso. So why don't we? I will be using the mirror modifier. So I'm going to go ahead and just chop this cube in half. Control R. I'm a little rusty, you guys. Having a week off, I'll go 3 for face select, and I'll just delete these faces, delete these faces. I'm doing this very inefficiently. Let's add our mirror modifier along the X, and we'll turn on clipping. Remember, clipping is to keep the things along the center matched up. So like if clipping is off, I can pull these apart, and if clipping is on, they stay together, and we want them to stay together. So general ideas here. We're starting with the basic like shape of a human body. If you were really wanting to get something realistic and proportional to an actual human, you would probably bring in a reference image at this point, like just take a picture of yourself, standing and put it in if you're trying to model you or, somebody famous or whatever. You'd get a picture of them off the internet. The other thing about modeling a character is we want to make sure that, especially if you're going to be animating a character, which you are going to be doing, is thinking about keeping the arms and legs. I'm gesturing, you can't see me. Keeping the arms and legs like apart. So a lot of times you'll see 3D models of characters with their arms out like this, or kind of like sort of out like this, but their hands are still kind of sticking out. So they call this is like a T pose. This is an A pose. And just making sure that the arms like aren't actually touching the body, or the legs aren't touching each other, that the legs and arms are just like a little bit separate, so that there's no kind of crossover, which can kind of cause mistakes and errors when animating. So we're going to just imagine that this is our torso. And again, I'm starting with like the very basic stuff here, and moving. We'll add a little bit of detail as we go. And I'm starting without the subdivision surface modifier. A lot of people start with the subsurface modifier on, but we don't have to this time. So let's just go SY, or we'll just make it a little bit more of a body shape. So if this is the torso here, well, how did this get moved in the back? Okay, maybe I just forgot to grab that one. Oh, I didn't have X-ray select on. Okay, let's go front orthographic view. Let's turn on X-ray select just so it's a little easier. I'll grab these, G, move it like this. And actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm immediately going to turn off clipping, because I want to be able to grab this bottom face and extrude and have it be two separate legs. Because if I had clipping on and I did this extrusion, they would remain connected here, which we don't want. So I'm going to just turn off clipping for this one part, extrude here, turn clipping back on. Cool. So we're working on our legs here. And you know what? Like, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Maybe only extrude a little bit here like this. Whoops. One for my front orthographic view. I'm going to extrude down again like this. G, S scale, like rotate a little bit. Maybe we're at the knees here. I'm going to extrude again. We're kind of at the ankles. And maybe extrude one more time. That's the heel. Then we can do like select this one, extrude this way. This is like the middle of the foot, and then do like another little extrusion, and this is the toes. So again, like it looks janky, it looks goofy, but we will adjust. We're just trying to get the shape of the body in place here. So maybe we should take this here. So I've got you can do it any number of ways, but like I do face select. Oops, one. There we go. Let's do another E extrusion. You know, S, we can scale it out. You know, this is kind of the chest, maybe. Maybe we can E extrude again, and this is, you know, where the shoulders are. You can grab this face and E extrude this out. Or maybe like, whoops, let me undo that. Let me G, whoops, undo. Let's G move this in a little bit. I need to right click. I need to make sure I'm in the orthographic view. G move this in. Rotate it a little bit. Like maybe this is like kind of the top of the shoulder here. Then we can E extrude down to like the elbow, G, R to rotate a little bit. E extrude again to the wrist. Again, like my proportions are probably off. Like this seems like this person has a really short torso and they're going to have long skinny arms, but it's a place to start at least. And then we can E extrude, and this will be like the hand here. Cool. Let's work on the neck. So I'm going to go Z solid mode again. Oh no, we are in solid mode. It's just the X-ray that's throwing me off a little bit. So yeah, look, obviously like these are not the proportions of a person, but maybe you're going for like a chunky robot thing. Who knows? Let's grab this top one. I'm going to E extrude, but then S scale it in like this, so that it's we're kind of just moving it in. So that's different from if I did extrude inner. Or not extrude inner, insert faces. So insert faces would like bring it in from all sides. But if I undo, if I just grab this one, whoops, with my selection tool, E to extrude regular, but then S, it's going to keep it connected along that clipping. So this is going to be our neck. And I'll GY move it like back a little bit, and we can E extrude here, and I don't know, maybe S scale down a little bit, and maybe 2 for edge select. Maybe this edge comes in. GG, maybe I can slide it this way a little bit. And then 3 for face select. E extrude, this is like the next part of the neck. I'm just kind of winging it here, folks. And then let's e-extrude one more time. And e-extrude again, and like these two will be, if I hold down shift and select these two, these will be like the front of the head, the front of the face. And then I don't know, maybe do we extrude again back here? No, I think that's fine. Because like you have, I'm trying to look at myself in the mirror. Yeah, you've got more head in front of your neck than behind your neck. All right, it's moving. It's happening a little bit. GX maybe. 3 for face select. Let's like GX move this one in. What's happening there? Oh yeah, okay. 3, 2, 1. I'm worrying about the details a little bit too much right now. So okay, so we've got just like a start. Let me just adjust this a little bit so that the proportions are a little bit more normal. First of all, what is going on with this head here? Let's G kind of move these in a little bit. Still looking very square. Like people have pretty tall, skinny heads like this. Yeah, that's looking a little better. There we go. That's looking a little more normal. Just jawline's a little whack. That's fine for now. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. Obviously arms. Arms are a problem. Let me go for my 1. And I'm gonna hold down the shift key and select all these vertices here. Switch to my side view and SY, scale these down. SY? Yeah, scale them together like this. So I'm just I'm adjusting all of these points just to make them look a little bit more normal. A little less boxy. Like here, like this. Why is your chest like that, dude? Doesn't have to be a dude. I'm gonna slide these ones down a little bit. The other thing to just kind of be conscious of is like the relative size of your polygon. So like here is a really big one, and you know here is a really small one. It's never going to be perfect, but you want to kind of keep them all relatively sized. You don't want them be too long, because again, when you're animating, you don't want to have your limbs swinging really far and then just like totally stretching really long polygons. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these and all of holding down shift and all of these, and I'm going to just GZ, move them up. So this person's a little bit taller. Cool. 1 for front view. So like, I think we're feeling a little bit chunky. Yeah. So I'm going to bring these ones in a little bit. This is starting to feel a little bit better. On the back, this back shoulder is a little bit awkward. The other thing that we should probably do right now, and I maybe should have turned this on ahead of time. So we've got a mirror modifier going. Let's add, I am going to choose to add a subdivision surface modifier. Now I showed you this trick before, but encourage, this is a good thing to do, especially with characters, is to turn on the on cage effect on the modifier. So actually, real quick, before I go back into edit mode, I'm just going to shade smooth just so it looks a little nicer. I'm going to turn on the on cage for subdivision, and what that does, so it's easier to see the difference here in edit mode. But so right now, the vertices and the edges are still representative of the like blocky cube without the subsurface modifier. But if you turn this on, they then like go to the place they are when it's subdivided. So it's easier to see what effect moving these is having on your subdivision. So like if I grab this point here and I hit G, I'm actually, you know, you can see that how I'm pulling the model, the subdivided model. So that can be, that's usually pretty helpful. So like here, I probably am going to want to take this one and GY, like move it back like this, and maybe this one. Whoops. What happened there? Undo. Is my clipping still on? Okay. Oh, it's selected 3 of them. I just want one. G. You know, move this up a little bit, just so it's like a little bit more of a normal head. Well, that's not too normal. So then there's a lot of this tweaking that happens when you're making a model. It's got a little bit more of a chin, and we can add more details in a little bit too. Okay, this is feeling a lot better now. Let's think about the hands a little bit. So we want to have like a little bit skinnier wrist. So let's add a loop cut here. Control R. I'm gonna add a loop cut, slide it kind of down this way here, and then I'm also gonna S scale it down. Cool. And you know, maybe we want our to have a little bit of an elbow, so we can kind of move the elbow back like this. We can kind of move the hands forward like this a little bit, rotate it a little bit. G, you know. It's feeling really skinny right here though. So maybe what I do is I take, I mean, it's an okay thickness here, but it feels too skinny here. So maybe I'm just going to take this one and kind of expand it out a little bit. I don't know. The other thing too is like it feels like really flimsy right here. So maybe I'll grab these 2 points and G kind of move them down here like this. Grab these 2 points, G move them down here like this. Maybe grab these ones, bring them out, give them a little bit more shoulder presence. Maybe we need to make the arms a little bit thicker too. Or the elbows. There you go. It's starting to get there. What else can we fix? Let's work on the knees a little bit. I'm gonna grab these ones in the back and actually kind of G move them forward so we can have some real knees. Bring the knees forward like that. Feet are totally goofy. Just grab these ones, move them down. And actually, you know what? Same story. We want like kind of ankles. So let's bring this down here and scale it in. So we've got like a little skinnier ankles. Excuse me. Yeah, those are very skinny, but that's okay. Maybe they'll be just a little bit bigger in the back like that. Sure. Thighs are looking big. These thighs come in a little bit. Maybe hips come in a little bit. Maybe not. It's feeling real skinny right here all of a sudden. All right, what do we do about feet? I think these two need to come up a little bit. Just because like the foot tapers a little bit more like that. And these are the toes. And so like, you know, imagine this being your big toe and you need to just kind of taper it a little bit like that. And maybe like, you know, these come in a little bit here. I don't know. Hey, you know what? I think it's not half bad. I think we need to get a little skinnier here. SX, a little skinnier at the waist. Now I feel like legs are too short. I should be going off reference, but that's okay. We're a little bit bow-legged. I'm just gonna grab this. I'm gonna rotate these a little bit like that. And then take the foot, rotate it a little bit like this. What are we gonna do about these hands? The hands aren't making me feel good. Let's give this person a little bit more of a chest action. Just puff out your chest a little bit. Okay. Arms are feeling a little short, maybe? I don't know. Should we make your arms longer? G, move these down. Oh, okay. That actually feels better. And then maybe this comes back down again. Now, like hand animations. Let's take a break if you've been following. Animating fingers and hands is a lot of work. You know, The Simpsons, you know, and actually in a lot of animated shows, they only have 4 fingers. They have a thumb and 3 additionals. Just because animating that many fingers is a hassle. So they're like, hey, you know what? Why don't we just make it 4 instead of 5 on each hand? Genius. And everybody's been copying it since. All right. So, you know, you can, your person can have just paddles for hands, which is fine. You know, or, you know, we can, whoops, I'll undo that. We can add like a little thumb too, if we really wanted to. So like, and rather, let's e-extrude this one out again. And then we can go e-extrude out here. Or no, would it be better to e-extrude here? Scale that down. Maybe this works a little better. Yeah, okay. Now I'm like upside down. All right, we can turn this back on. This makes a little bit more sense. But see, okay, if the wrist is back here, we got to kind of reel all this in. Because it's like everything's getting a little bit too stretched out here. So I'll go my vertex select, grab all these, G, move them in. Or maybe not. Because it's like grabbing from over here. I'm just trying to get a nice thumb, gang. Why is it so hard? And then I want the wrist to be a little smaller. So this might be worth adding another loop cut in here, honestly. Whoops. There we go. That's kind of normalized things a little bit. Did I extrude out of here too? Why is there this face? I'm undoing all the way back, all the way back. Okay, I think yes. That was the problem. Okay. Extrude here. G. R. Let's add another loop cut up here. Oh. I was starting to get worried. Starting to get worried that you'd think I didn't know what I was talking about. I don't. Okay, so this person is just going to have mittens. So there's some gesturing that can happen. And they have tiny hands compared to their bodies. So let's just take all of this and we can just scale this up a little bit like this. So that the hands are like a little bit more of a regular person's hands. Let's just rotate them in a little bit like this. Okay, look at that. They have giant ape arms. That's fine. Okay, so here's a character. This is at a decent spot here, I think. Got a butt. Maybe you model your butt a little bit differently. Oops, didn't want to select that. Undo, undo. Anyway. And like, you know, you can maybe add a couple more cuts just so that things look even. Like I'm going to add a cut here just so that we've got enough geometry to work with. I'm going to maybe add another cut here along the thighs. So here's where you can, whoops, you can start to add a little bit more detail. Maybe also add one more cut here. Just so like things are starting to look regular. I think we gotta scale these out a little bit. I think these have to come down a little bit. Well, oh, did not mean to do that. G. S Shift Z, scale it out this way a little bit. Oh, that's, no. Undo that. Control Z. Okay. So, and like, if you wanted, you could start working on a face too. Don't forget to save, by the way. This will be my first time saving this. This is humanoid model. Save that. So if you wanted, we could add a little bit more detail here as well. So like we could loop cut here and just kind of start to think about where faces or where features could be. So like that could be where the eyes go. This could be maybe where the mouth goes here. We can bevel here. How do we bevel point? Control Alt B. Control Shift B. Oops, that is it, but I had more than one selected. Control Shift B. You know, like, and then I'm gonna kind of extrude this out a little bit. So this is like the start of a nose here. It's very pointy. Maybe it didn't have to be that pointy. The other thing that you'll probably want to use is some soft selection. There we go. Just kind of widen it out a little bit. So like if you're like, you know, like this part of the head is a little bit off, maybe you use soft selection to kind of grab like larger chunks to make it the shape you want. If that works for you. And then we can do the same thing here. Control Shift B. Like this is going to be the mouth, and then we can ES like this, right? And then you can extrude. It looks creepy to begin with, but like obviously then you close the mouth. GZ. Turn off X-ray maybe. So obviously, like it's natural to see this and be like, oh my god, it looks so bad, because really it does look bad at this point. But you know, you get better, and like you can always like just improve. You know, just shift things a little bit, move things a little bit, and then it'll start to look a little bit less freaky as you do it. And so like, you know, maybe they're smiling. And like a little trick to just like add some simple teeth, you can just add like a cube in there. So like, you know, Shift A, add a cube. S, scale it down. SY. Where'd it go? That's X. And then let me go to my side view. Hold on. And that's like, oh, then it's just a smile. Like it's just like ding. Maybe add a loop cut here like this, and just like G Y move it forward just a little bit. See, like it's already looking a little less freaky. The nose is weird, but like noses are hard. So like maybe you grab all these and you. Oops, it's like I should do it like this. Maybe the nose gets a little wider like this. And then maybe we control R, add a loop cut here like that. No, that didn't do anything. Let me undo everything I just did, because that looks awful. I'm not going to spend too much time on the nose because it's looking fine for now. So then, like, you could try to do eyes too. I think eyes are difficult to get them to not look freaky. So, you know, maybe you put sunglasses on your model. Maybe you model a pair of sunglasses. That's a little easier to do. But if I were to do it, I don't know. Maybe let me add another loop cut here, like this, just so that I've got like a spot where the eyes can kind of go. So, but before I go any further with the eyes, though, I just want to like take a peek at my mesh without the on cage thing on, because it's very easy for things to like get totally whacked out of place. So like right now, I see a couple of big glaring things that I've done. There's like this, for whatever reason, this nose, the top of the nose is way up here. So I'm just going to bring this back to reality. And like some of these nose pieces are a little out of whack. So I just want to try to like line things up a little bit more nicely. I can see here also that my lip is like flipped around, which isn't good. So let me get that going in the right spot. Like the bottom of the nose there is in a bad spot, so we can adjust that later. The chin, whoops, undo that. The chin is like a little bit wonky, so maybe we add another loop cut down there. What about this? What's going on here? So this part of the face is like a little bit, oh, this is the bottom lip. Okay. So that's a little bit, oops, I keep pressing D. Or is it F? Actually, this is okay here. This is the bottom of the lip. This is like the inside of the mouth here. That doesn't really matter too much. Oh yeah, down here. So the mouth is like open really wide, which is kind of awkward. Okay. So just like I'm fixing up just a little bit, just so that it's not super awkward here. I'm gonna move these up because this is where we'll do the eyes. Okay. Oops, back to edit mode. Let's turn this back on. Let's turn off X-ray. Okay, so this is, you know, it's a little bit tamer now, but we can work with this. Let's do eyes. So I'm gonna go 3 for face select. I'm gonna grab this one. I'm going to insert faces here, so we get like just like a couple of eyes here, like such. And then I don't know, we can just GZ pull these in. Oops, not GZ, GY, pull these in a little bit. Let's get out of here. Shift A, let's add a, what was I doing? A UV sphere. And we can, you know, kind of put this into place here. Use an orthographic view, please. Scale it down so it's about the size of an eyeball. Get your side view going. And now we can, let's add a mirror modifier here. And here's a cool thing. Rather than like choosing a specific axis, we can say mirror across our cube person here, which we'll just call person. And we can shade smooth. So already we're looking a little freaky, but we can do some stuff to add some eyelids here, and kind of close in the model around the eyes, around the sockets a little bit. So let's grab some edges. And you know what we should do is I'll go 3 for face select. Let's actually G move this in. Move them away from each other. SY scale, or SX scale it this way a little bit. And let's E extrude back like this. I think this will give us a little bit more of a normal normal eye socket. And then scale that down. Scale it down. Oh, but it made it, they connected back there, so hold on. So we only want to extrude a little bit. I need to be able to see what's going on. Let's do it. Let's do top-down view. Turn on X-ray. Rotate this way. Okay. There we go. That's starting to look a little bit more normal. Let's like bring these two in here. Bring this one in, bring this one in. So they kind of look angry right now. So again, like you can play with this. Maybe bring these ones like down a little bit. Maybe bring everything closer together. I don't know. If I go back to object mode, move the eye in towards the center a little bit. Grab all of these, G, move them in like this. Be more of a surprise look. Oh yeah, this is looking a little bit friendlier. Bring the nose, bring this bridge. Is this the bridge of your nose? In a little bit. Bring these in a little bit. Maybe bring this one out. I don't know. So, okay, that's about as far as I'm going to go with this. But this is a model, and this is like a starting place. Now, modeling characters and modeling good characters is a skill that you get better at. It's a skill that I am admittedly not very good at. I'm more of a like hard surface modeling person. That's what I like to model and enjoy modeling. But part of the thing about being a 3D artist and being a 3D animator is that part of the like excitement and part of the art of it is the animation. So you don't need to have the most realistic models and like highest detail, highest polygon count stuff to be successful and to achieve something that people like to look at and enjoy and can get you work. So if you're not the best modeler, but you are a good animator, that's awesome. That's just as good. So hopefully you either followed along or like got some tips on how you could model a character. Keep in mind that next week we will be rigging and animating a character. I'll probably use this just for fun. So be prepared to have a model for next assignment that we'll be rigging and animating. Anyway, that's it for this week. So long. Toodaloo.